My name is Kane Smego, and I'm the writer-performer of Temples of Lung and Air.
In the States, hip-hop was born as liberation music, a soundtrack for the urban struggle birthed by DJ Kool Herc.
The story in the play is about my upbringing and growing up with parents who are white who were split up, and my mother's partner who was like a second father figure to me who was black, and my grandparents who lived with my dad and my older brother who were white, and kind of growing up between two worlds and two conflicting narratives. So that these kind of questions were always on my mind, even when I was very young and didn't understand the context as much as I did as I got older. Finding a way to talk about those things in a more focused, kind of deliberate way through the arts has been part of my career. But obviously, creating something in 90 minutes that's kind of a cohesive story, that was the big challenge. This is a new world for me, so I want to be pushed. I want to develop new skills. I want to grow. And that's where kind of the acting comes in, and being able to fully embody those kind of things. And Joseph was instrumental in kind of pushing those limits.
I'm interested sort of in what's underneath our experience in our culture, and where conflicts and resistance and lack of connection lies, and what performance can do to sort of change that conversation. Performers like Kane open those doors in beautiful ways. He brings such a wonderful toolbox that we get to play with, that it makes the dynamics of the piece worthy of like a one-person show where things keep on shifting and changing, and just when you think you know what he can do something else.
So thinking about, all right, now I have 90 minutes to move between these different kind of mediums, to communicate in every way that I possibly can as a person, the ideas and the emotions that I want to get across.
He does this poem of borders, which makes us think about all types of borders and all types of ways in this moment of, and then this new moment of anti-immigration that we're experiencing, so that it just sort of explodes the notion of that one idea.
I've never felt more hip-hop than right here, right now.
It's about grappling and wrestling with big questions around race, around the way that we learn the language of race, around culture, cultural appropriation, authenticity. And it's also, there are entertaining parts of it too. Like there's gonna be some funny moments, some exciting moments. There's some double time rap in there. Like there's a little bit of everything. So I hope to take people on a journey that gets them to reflect on their own kind of complex relationship to race and identity in America.
I think there's ways in which we don't think about ethnicity, race, background, ideas of co-option, where art comes from, who gets to own art. I just think all of those questions are really interesting. I think explaining white privilege to white people is very complicated. They don't quite understand it. I think that gets explored in interesting ways.
Proving that we ain't spinning different records, just remixing the same song, and I've been wrong.
And I think, again, sort of being surprised by how you're taken into an idea that you don't think about and then start thinking about it opens up a whole bunch of opportunities for discussion, change, transformation, or just a little adjustment just a little adjustment. Just maybe I'll think twice about that idea.
I'd like to try that just in the transition with the slide.
When I perform, my favorite kind of audience is a diverse audience because I can connect on those different levels. And so it's always fun to have folks who are hip hop heads in the room who get it, right? Who are gonna get all the references, who understand the medium and gonna vibe with it, right? That's the most fun. They're the most lively and the most responsive audience.
Gold ropes and fat laces and back brace for cats in the rat race, and I may have been sold down, spun round, pawned off, commodified, Spotify, chopped, screwed, auto-tuned.
I also feel like, white folks, especially white men, are like the audience that I feel most responsible for reaching. I feel like I have a responsibility to connect with those folks and to bring up the kind of hard questions that the piece asks about my relationship to the culture and about, I think, white folks' relationship to racialism in the United States and the history. So all that to say, I love mixed audiences because I want them to have that experience together with me, to ask those hard questions and to also enjoy themselves, and to hopefully let it be a seed for a continued dialogue that happens outside of the show. When it's all over and the lights go off, I hope that those conversations will spark new ones.
Ain't I always been right on time? Ain't I been chameleon medicine, whatever you needed me to be to heal all your brethren to patch a gaping wound the size of a crack house or a trailer park festering of a bleeding city, trying desperately to clout